It's time for Darrell and I to do one of our favorite activities, camp in the North Georgia mountains. This time it's a quick trip, just one day and one night, and we're going to enjoy it, spending some nice, peaceful time soaking in this gorgeous early spring day in the South. Cots, two of them, two sleeping bags, going in the tent now. Two rumple blankets, going in the tent now. Sleeping pad, going in the tent now. Bright red steaks, mallet, because we're not backpacking and we can afford to carry something like this with us. I'm going to stake out the rain fly so that it's not flapping around in the wind. At the vista on the Benton Mackay. I always forget if it's McKay or Mackay. Which one is it?
I always say McKay.
I think McKay is wrong though. Darrell says he always says McKay, but I think it might be Mackay. I will correct the pronunciation. But yeah, this is the vista right off the trail. And this is the lookout bench that we will be sitting on. Someone decided to fly in my face at the perfect moment. We're just about a 10-minute walk from the campsite. We're really close to the Benton Mackay Trail and the Appalachian Trail, and here we are at the Vista.
Yes,
yeah,
and it's a beautiful day.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very pretty.
Yeah, it's so warm and sunny, and there's a nice breeze. And we are camping
Once again.
together.
Oh yes, we're camping together.
Like we do so often. And we thought that it would be a good idea to talk about the pros and cons of camping with somebody else, because I know there's such a it can be difficult to find other people to camp with you, depending on where you are, what kind of environment you are in,
Right.
how you grew up.
It can be an issue finding personalities that gel with you for that experience.
And then you might not want to do it by yourself either, which is understandable, especially for starting something new. We're going to start off with the first one.
Okay.
And this one is inspired by us being here at the Owen Vista. So Darrell has been to this campsite before, so he knew about this vista, and I didn't know about it. It's only a 10-minute walk from where we're camping right now, and there is the Appalachian Trail, the Benton Mackay Trail near us. But I wouldn't have known this vista was here. Of course, if I would have explored, I would have seen it. But in general, if you have another person with you and they've been to a campsite already, they can show you a new campsite. They can show you cool things around the campsite, and they're more familiar with it, and just the landscape, what to look out for, what the environment is like in terms of, are there people out there? Are there a lot of people who walk back and forth? How close is it to the road? Yeah, I think that's a good pro of camping with someone and not alone.
Well, my first con of camping with somebody is you have to have double the gear, maybe even 3 times the gear, depending on how high maintenance or low maintenance the person you're with is. If you're the person that has the gear, you have the stuff, and you're inviting somebody else and they don't have gear, or you're the person driving and you may be picking somebody else up, it can be a somewhat of a burden to lug all that gear around. I mean, you have twice the food, twice the tents. You double everything, or triple, depending on, what other accessories they may have. Maybe they want to bring a projector and a movie, setup situation. Maybe they want to bring their PS5 or something. There's all types of gadgets and stuff people want to bring. So that's my first con of camping with somebody else.
Yeah, heavier load. But then you get the person too. So that leads me to my next pro, I guess. Yeah, you get to experience somebody else's energy with you. Of course, it's different than being in the solitude and peace, and you get to be in your own zone, basically, when you're camping alone. When you come with somebody else, they bring games, they bring laughter, they bring fun, they bring all sorts of. Maybe the bugs are attracted to my glasses. Because they're yellow. I don't know. But they bring things that you might not bring. So you might not think of bringing a movie, a projector. And it could turn out being a nice time, even though you might not necessarily carry so much of a load when you're alone. There's a camaraderie, the fellowship that happens when you camp with someone else. On to your next one then.
My next one is, unless you're very familiar with this person, you don't know how they're going to act in this environment. Maybe they're one way in the workplace or at school or at the gym or wherever you know them from. But when they get out here, they might want to do things or be a certain way that they normally wouldn't be. For instance, some people come out here and they are extra loud or they're extra obnoxious because they feel they have the space to do so. And that can be quite annoying. Some people don't have the same sleep schedule as you, and they want to stay up.
You look at me when you said that.
And they want to stay up all night.
That's not me.
Doing whatever, and you might want to go to sleep earlier than them, but you're kind of forced to stay up because they're still up. So you kind of want to really be selective on who you're with.
Okay, we are going to spend a little bit more time at the Vista, hike back to our campsite, and then we will tell you more pros and cons of camping with somebody else. pro of camping with somebody else that I know really well, because I always camp with you, is safety. I mean, you're big on safety and preparedness, and so am I, but you know, I think that it's nice to have an extra pair of eyes and ears. So you hear when somebody's coming, if you're using the bathroom at camp, or I'm in the river at camp, or I'm sleeping, it's nice to have someone else there to be a lookout. At night, it's nice to have another pair of ears, eyes. I mean, you snore at night too. So it's like, you know, it's just, I can hear stuff when you can't, when you're knocked out in whatever deep sleep you're in, when you're snoring. I can hear what's going on outside the tent. Or at night, you might be awake. At times, I'm not awake, I'm asleep, because sometimes you stay up later than me at night. So it's just an added benefit of having another person there to be on guard, to be a lookout, to be circumspect, to be just aware of the surroundings and things that's going on, and report back about them. I think it's a big pro.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, strength and security in numbers, and yeah, you're absolutely right and spot on. Especially if you're a new camper, you should definitely bring a buddy, preferably, especially if you're in an unfamiliar area. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you, and yeah, that's a valid point. Another con is if you're on a longer camping trip, such as maybe a 3-day backpacking trip, you may start to get annoyed by this other person's presence. You think, okay, they're cool, you know, they're good to hang out with or go camping with, and that first day is fine. Then you realize shortly after, the first day was the only day you needed to be with them. And the other 2 days, you realize, man, this is actually kind of a bummer, and this person is actually annoying the crap out of me. And, you know, you won't know that until you know, but that is one thing to look out. They're kind of, you know, frustrating, kind of, you know, spiky. And
spiky?
Yeah, kind of spiky, you know?
That's
prickly,
a very,
you know?
Yeah, that's a very synesthetic word.
Okay. Well, you know, there are people that are like that. So, annoyance after X amount of time may present itself to you. Some people that might be an afternoon, some people that might be 3 days. Depends on your tolerance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that can be a real con of camping with somebody, because it's the same as traveling with somebody. I mean, I know very well, you got to find your travel buddies who travel well with you.
Right.
They won't complain if you do something this way. They know how to split up, you know. They know how, if you want to sleep in and they don't, then they know how to manage that, and they're okay with it. Or what, you know, travel styles might be the same. I would say it would be the same for camping. Camping styles may be more similar or more different. And I would say, just as far as advice for having, not the boundary, but setting the expectation ahead of time, ahead of the camping trip. You can say to someone, how do you like to camp? You know, do you prefer to use a cot? Do you want to not take a cot and be more low key?
Yeah.
Do you like to cook full meals? Do you like to have coffee every morning? Or would you prefer just something I can just add water to?
All right. There's a pre-camp conversation to be had.
Yeah.
Yes. For all parties, mutual benefit and experience.
And enjoyment.
And enjoyment, yeah, that's a good one. So, yeah.
Okay. Another pro that I have is that when you're camping with more than one person, we are able to do tasks faster. So we can put up the tent faster, we can unpack the car faster, we can unpack our backpacks faster for backpacking, we can cook faster, or I can be cooking while you are doing something else. What else can be done? I mean, everything that you're doing can be done faster because you have two hands doing the thing. And a lot of the time when you're camping together, it's not, especially for us, we're sharing a tent, it's not even like there's more, it's not necessarily a lot more large gear. You know, when we're in the rooftop tent, when we just have one ground tent, then we're setting up the one tent, but we still have two hands to do it. If it's raining, you know, it's going to be really helpful to be able to set up quicker, set the tent up quicker. Things get less wet. Yeah, I think that there's a big benefit in getting tasks done faster. Efficiency, economy in the requirements of camping.
Right.
Is what happens when you have two people to work together.
Yeah, that's valid, especially when both people are, you know, relatively somewhat experienced, competent. You know, it does make things go faster. So my next con is that sometimes you will be forced to be on other people's timeline, and you may have a conflict of tasks. So some people might be faster at packing up their tent or setting up their tent, and you may have to wait on them if you're the person who's very efficient at setting up your tent or packing up your tent, and you're like, man, this guy's kind of slow. Like, he doesn't really, you know, have his stuff going on. He needs to hurry up because the rain is coming. You know, it's not always going to be a beautiful sunny day like today. So in instances like that, you may have to assist this person because, you know, they're a step behind. And so you might resent them for them being maybe a little bit slower than you are. And so you may say, well, you know, I don't actually dislike this person because they're slower than me, but it is kind of annoying that we're not at the same pace, you know, at the same tempo, so to speak. And, you know, for some people that could be a real stickler. It's like, some people are like, hey, it takes me X amount of time to set up my tent and X amount of time to break it down, and then I'm getting in my tent and I'm going to sleep. And this other person is still like doing the dishes, you know, after it's already dark.
Yeah.
So having differences in timelines, being out of sync, may cause friction in terms of, you know, each other's efficiencies and tasks you both like to do or, you know, don't like to do.
Good morning. It is the next morning. It was a chilly night here, but my sleep was probably like, I don't know how much I got. I feel pretty well rested, but my sleep was on and off. I kept waking up throughout the night, but now it is about like some time after 8 in the morning, and I am going to pack the tent up, get ready to brave the chill, which is warming up pretty quickly because we've had some warm days here now that the spring is beginning. But I'll pack up. One of the pros of camping with somebody else is that you get to generate body heat with them overnight. So when it's cold, You can cuddle if that's available to you, or you can just get closer, or if you're in a smaller tent, then the heat will generate, there will be more heat generated that will circulate through the tent. We have a 3-person tent that Darrell and I use, but so there's a little bit more room in the tent, more space, but it is a pro. But I'm sorry, my nose is running a little. That is a pro, but a con is that it might still be cold, and you might, like, Darrell and I have separate sleeping bags. We have regretfully not gotten a double sleeping bag yet, which is something we really want because we camp together so much. Like, it's not totally necessary, and the shape of a mummy, like, helps, of a mummy sleeping bag. So the shape, it's like the shape of a mummy's sarcophagus, will help trap the warmth better. And of course, there are the things you can do to add heat in your sleeping bag when you're in it. But I mean, it's nice to sleep with somebody too, and that helps generate a lot of warmth. So yeah, I want to keep packing up though. Let's start with the sleeping bag. This part's not the most fun when you have no gloves on and my hands are cold, but it's okay. It just takes a bit of pressure to get these legs off of the cot. And I don't know if it's irrational, but I'm terribly afraid of pinching my hands in these, so I'm pretty careful with them. They used to have rubber bands that went around the legs, but that is not worth keeping up with. And we could use a bongo tie or whatever else we wanted to, but this is fine. Ta-da! All done. Now, between you and me, that cot that I just packed up, I had my cot first because I was like, I didn't care for sleeping on the ground, and I found that sleeping on a cot helped me sleep a lot better. So it is a backpacking cot. When we go backpacking, I take it with me, even though it is added weight. It is something that I like to bring along with me. Now, between you and me, Darrell copied me, okay? He got the exact same cot. Once he saw how wonderfully, beautifully I was sleeping on it, and he uses the exact same one now too. So I'm gonna pack up the second one, and just know that I was an inspiration to him. Also, I have no idea what my face looks like, so this is the reality of camping and waking up in the morning, is that I haven't done anything. All I've done is wake up and start packing up the tent. Oh, look. A surprise glove from somewhere. Okay, so look who's arrived, Darrell. The perfect example of being able to divide tasks. Because I've been able to pack up the tent while he was luxuriating. Eating crostinis?
Yes. The finest of crostinis.
can take things to the car while I pack stuff up in here. You want to do that?
No, sometimes it's better to stick to one task as a unit, make things go a little faster.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of pros of doing things together or having another person with you when you camp, yeah, both ways would be faster. But wow, now we have a wealth of options to go faster and doing things. Glove must come off to go faster as well. Things never go in like they came out into these stuff sacks. Okay. That's like a cardinal rule of camping. Things never go into the stuff sacks like they came out.
Not when you first purchased them.
Yeah, not when you first. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Afterwards, it's a free-for-all.
Yeah.
But it's like so dissatisfying for it not to go back in like it went in the first time. The first time you put it back in.
Oh, it doesn't bother me because I never expected to.
Oh, excuse me. My expectations are the root of my suffering, huh?
Yeah. In this instance, absolutely. Always have a knife.
Yeah.
That's the rule of the day, family.
Alrighty, time to take things outy.
Yeah.
Moving out. Whew. Okay. So the tent is all cleaned out now. And we're basically we have to organize the car,
Yes,
which is
the second
always
part of this. Always a bit of a task.
yeah.
So it'll be
Sometimes it's messy though. Sometimes it's just left messy. Sometimes, admittedly, if the tent isn't even put in the tent stuff sack, it's thrown into the car, especially when we have to roll out because of rain.
Yes. Although we tend to, that's rare, fortunately, but yes, that does happen.
Yeah. Anyway, rolling out.